think I've said many times here on this channel that I would literally go to prison for my dogs. I love my dogs. I love all dogs. I think they're better than humans, and I know people say that to be funny, but I genuinely mean that. If anybody intentionally hurts my dog, it's life in prison for me. Flat out. I'm not even joking. Do I value my dog's life over some humans? Sure I do. So this is a situation that really caught my attention. A lot of you send me things you think I'll be interested in, and a lot of the times I make it into videos. And a lot of the time I'll send like the links that you send me to my researcher, because this is a reaction channel, right? I want to react to what's going on for first time seeing it. I wanted to get a little bit more involved in this one, and I did a little bit of an investigation myself into this, because to be honest with you, I was kind of disgusted at the way the brand dealt with this. Now, we have a whole playlist here on this channel called Brands Behaving Badly or something like that, because I was actually, to be quite frank, disgusted at the way the company, the business, dealt with this situation, and I'm sure you will be too if you have dogs. That playlist is full of businesses making very poor business decisions, and this has to be probably one of the worst that we've seen. I would like to state before going into this, everything I say about how the dog park business feels, how they've reacted to this, a lot of it is very much my own personal opinion on how I feel about dogs and human relationships with dogs, businesses that work with dogs and how they should react and how they should behave, and kind of just general human empathy. I've also reached out to both parties, so a lot of what I'm saying is based on what has come from them too. I want you to watch this video first. So this was sent to me by one of you, thank you so much, and it's by someone called Georgia Nevada, and she is a country rock artist based here in the UK.
So I don't really want to have to make this video, but I feel like I have, I don't know, some kind of responsibility too. I feel like I need to. A couple of weeks ago, our dog, little whippet down there, was in a near fatal accident at a dog field near to where we live. And we hired this dog field because, you know, whippets are fragile and we have to be quite careful about where we can let him run.
For those of you who don't own dogs or maybe don't use dog fields, I also use a dog field. There's businesses near me that have different ones in the area. It's a big, huge field that's completely gated off, so your dogs are completely safe from the outside world. You can let them off lead. You book that time. It can be 25 minutes to an hour for just you, so your dogs can run around, do whatever. Now, I do this for the comfort of my dogs. I won't go into too much detail, but my eldest dog, she cannot go on regular walks, so I know within this field it's completely safe. It's triple gated, fences all the way around, you know what I mean? It's extremely safe. So what's being said in this video is they have a whippet. You know, their legs are like twigs, you know what I mean? They're very fragile. So people hire out these fields like you would normally take your dog on a walk, but you have time within these fields.
So we always hire like dog fields or something like that. So we thought we'd try this one because they are really well recommended, really well like respected, and seem to be like a really cool place. So we booked it. They told us that they had a closed sandpit there. Like they just let us know the sandpit's closed, like don't use it, it's closed. So cool, like that's fine. So we got there and Beans was running across the field because he's whippet and he's running in a dog field. And he was running from my husband to me. Georgia from the future here, he fell into the sandpit that was flush with the ground. Jumped out the other side and started like screaming.
Oh, hell, that's my idea of hell. Like, I'm such a, I guess, paranoid dog owner that I feel like anything could hurt them, you know what I mean? I've got better, but I think my worst fear is them going missing or them getting really hurt or becoming really sick.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to keep like pausing this because it's
understandable.
It was crazy. So essentially what had happened is Beans had fallen into this pit that was the sandpit, right? But the sandpit was closed, and by closed there was no sand, so it was just a pit.
So we're gonna look at that a little bit later, the sandpit, but the sandpit is closed. But I just want you to see in that picture there's kind of nothing around it, right? It's just an empty sandpit, which from just looking at it is like, okay, fine, no sand.
So he fell into this pit, hit his neck against the side, against the wooden edge, and it had ripped his skin from here to here and managed to put a 7 centimetre deep hole in his neck, about the size of a ping pong ball.
A 7 centimeter. Oh, I can't even. Devastating. I would be absolutely devastated. A 7 centimeters is huge on a whippet, on any dog. 7 centimeters is huge.
He's screaming in the field. My husband and I run towards him.
Baby.
My husband takes off his jumper because there is so much blood. We could see it, like, pumping out. It was like something out of a movie. Like, it was absolutely
Like a vein
horrific.
almost.
So we stopped the bleeding and we went straight to the emergency vet. And I honestly, like, I can't explain how insane it was. It was terrifying, absolutely terrifying. We were trying to keep him conscious. We were trying to stop the bleeding. My husband's jumper was like sodden. We got to the vet. They were waiting outside for him. They took him straight into surgery. We then found out that he had this rip that we'd obviously seen, this hole that we'd already seen, because when we were covering it, it was like pumping out of it. The hole was 7 centimetres deep and missed his carotid artery by less than half a centimetre, and the jugular by the same, and had like scraped past all of the important nerves in his neck.
I was about to say how lucky, but that's completely the wrong thing to say. But I mean, this accident should have never happened. But how lucky that it was just a tiny bit closer to those. Oh, I don't even want to say it.
The vet told us that if we hadn't got there when we did, if we hadn't stopped the bleeding in the way that we did and as quickly as we did, and if it had been half a centimetre, less than half a centimetre in any direction, he wouldn't have made it to the vet. Now, the dog park were aware of it. They were aware of it the night of, and the dog park was back open the next day. They did no closing. We were the last booking that day. They have done nothing to the sandpit. They've done nothing to make it safer. I'm going to put pictures up of it so you guys can see what I mean. So Beans ran straight into an edge that was actually coming apart from the wood. And that's where this damage was done.
Again, we're going to look at some other pictures. I actually even have some video footage closer up of the sandpit, but it's almost as though the wood is splintering around the edge. Now, I actually have one area like this in my garden, which is behind a fence, but it's the UK, right? It gets wet, it gets then very dry very quickly, it can get humid, especially in the summer. Wood splinters, wood separates, it cracks, it chips away. It's not really the safest thing to have. It is really something you need to keep an eye on.
We still don't understand how the hole got there, but it was in the slamming into the side. He developed this almost ping pong ball sized hole in his neck that was really deep, really, really, really deep. So I guess the thing we're struggling with now is the dog park aren't accepting liability. Their insurance aren't accepting liability because we signed the thing that says anything that happens in the dog park is at our own risk, right? Fine, exactly.
However, when you go to somewhere like that, anything that happens is at your own risk. So these are unmanned usually. There may be a security camera, but there isn't somebody who works there, standing there, watching everything happening, making sure people are picking up their dog poo, all this kind of stuff. It's kind of like a help yourself situation. You booked that time, you unlock the gate, you shut it when you're done, you tidy up when you're done, right? When you sign that thing saying anything that happens within this kind of dog field, you accept that because you're like, if something happens to my dog within these fields, anyone can say it's the dog field's fault. My dog threw up, oh, because they ate something in the field. You know what I mean? Things like that. What you don't actually expect is for there to be something within the field that is put there by the business that will potentially kill your dog. You don't expect that. You think that this business cares about their dogs. They're not going to have anything in there that could be damaging, right?
Whatever, we'll pay the vet bill. Like, I had to give my house away to keep my dog alive. But they are doing nothing about the sandpit. Absolutely nothing. Every time I've mentioned it, every time I've asked them to do something, to put a sign up so that people know it's there, because you can't see it. That's the other thing. Sorry, I should have mentioned this. You can't see the sandpit. Where the grass has come up, it's like flush with the ground. When the grass grows, the sandpit isn't visible. So, sorry, this video is so all over the place. I'm probably going to have to like chop and put things in the right place so that this makes some sort of sense. Beans could not see it as he was running. We couldn't see it. From either side of the field, we also couldn't see it. If there had been a sign there, something there, we would have known that there was a pit in the ground, and we would have made sure that our dog was not running near it. If there had been something covering it, he wouldn't have fallen in. If there had been a sign, or it had been cordoned off, or literally anything else, we wouldn't have been in that situation.
This is very easy to do. So the dog field I go to, at one point, this big hole in the ground just appeared, and, you know, it would get full of water when it rained and all this kind of stuff. All they did was put like 4 cones around the hole and like that yellow tape around it. A dog isn't going to run up to that and purposely run through it. They're going to stop and hold back, giving you time then to tell your dog stop, because you've seen it too. In the dog's excitement, they're not going to run through that tape. You know what I mean?
Every vet we've spoken to has told us how lucky we are. We know how lucky we are to have him with us. But another dog might not be so lucky. And the thought of this happening to anybody else, and the lack of concern by the dog park for the fact that... Future Georgia here, I was trying to say that regardless of whether or not the insurance have deemed that the sandpit is safe, it clearly isn't safe enough. An area of your facility that caused a dog to nearly die, that caused a dog to nearly bleed out, make that make sense. Like, I can't get that in my head. I can't get...
We'll talk about this a little bit more as well, but it does seem, and you'll see later on, that the dog park actually don't care in general. I'm not saying they don't. Everything I say, and this is my opinion, we do have some things that you'll see that also give that sense that for a company that provide to dogs and dog owners, they seem to not care. And what's been said in this video here as well, is like, she actually isn't expecting the dog park to pay for the vet bills. She's not going to sue them. All she wants is for this business to realize something within your field that you own, that you have put there, that is being unkept, has almost killed a dog. This very same thing that you provide services for and seem to care for, but not really. Again, we'll get to that later. And this situation of a dog bleeding out, almost dying, has not even made you want to put a small fence around it. A small fence you can get from Amazon. Again, I have them in my garden. Clip them together and they go round. They're dead easy. Next day delivery. Go to B&Q, you're in the UK. Same day. Your business. You have a money and you maintain your fields. Again, we'll look at that later.
How you could see that happened in your dog park and not feel like, okay, maybe there's something we need to do. Put some rubber around the edge so that if a dog runs straight into it, falls into it, and whacks their neck against the side, they don't nearly die. Like, literally anything else. But they are doing absolutely nothing.
I do have to add to this as well. This is a bit of a freak accident, right? But at the same time, it's happened. It's not something that isn't going to happen. It has quite literally happened. And how does the thought of it happening again not disturb you deeply as a company, as a business, again, that cater to dogs and their
They
owners?
didn't do anything afterwards. They haven't looked into doing anything as far as I'm aware. And honestly, like, last thing I want to do. But we nearly lost our dog, and they don't seem to care. And they don't seem to care about any other dog in that field, because this could have happened to anyone's dog. Our dog was just running around in a dog field, in a secure dog field that we'd hired, you know, so that he could. Also, if it's happened once, it will happen again.
Right, literally.
This will happen again. And you can accept, you can say that you don't accept liability, but that you will be looking at ways to make it safer.
Exactly,
you know, like
exactly.
Anything, any kind of level of humanness that acknowledges that something wasn't safe enough, you're not preventing it. You're allowing this to go on, which could mean that it can happen again. And that is something that I just feel so unbelievably passionate about. Do something. Okay, so the dog field, because I told them that I felt responsibility to make a video or make a post or talk about it, they've done a post on their account, and I just want to go through it real quick. So this is what they've said. Pause if you want to read it. I would like to reiterate that I don't care what the insurers said. I don't care what the insurers...
I'm going to read that statement out to you. And she's actually covered the name off the dog field. I am not. This is Ely Dogfield. And just before I read this out, I want you to think about being a person who, again, is a business that caters to dogs, where this has happened to a dog in one of your fields. There's something you can change very easily within that field and fix very easily, okay? On the 29th of April 2026, we were made aware of a dog that had been seriously injured whilst in our dog field. We immediately provided all assistance that we could to support the owners that evening. We were very pleased to receive an update the following day confirming that the beautiful dog had been returned home from the vets. Agree. In line with correct procedure, here we go, we followed due process and notified our insurers, who then took over all communication regarding the matter. The insurance company reviewed photos, videos, and significant amount of documentation and concluded that we are not liable. That's fine. You're not liable. Actually, you know what? We'll talk about this afterwards. Let me carry on with the thing. Our insurance have provided the following summary following their investigation, because we all know insurance people and people like that are the most, soulful and empathetic people ever. The terms and conditions for use of a dog field clearly state that the use of a field is entirely at the customer's own risk. That the dog field operator accepts no liability for injury, loss, damage, or claims involving visitors, property, or dogs during the use of a paddock, and that owners remain responsible for their dogs at all times during their visit. That's great. But if I say, come to my field, I've just set out a load of bear traps, but what happens, that's down to you. It's not really, Our investigation confirms that notice had been given that the sandpit area was closed at the time of the incident. Okay. Can I just say something? That sandpit isn't closed. It's still very much there. It's still very much accessible. If you want to close something, close it. It's out of use. It's not closed. No defects or hazards were identified in or around the sandpit area. We quite literally have evidence there was. The sandpit had been covered with chipboard and rubber matting, which is in line with standard safety measures used within the industry. We'll look further into that too. Ely Dogfield remains deeply saddened that any dog should ever be injured in any capacity, and send our very best wishes to the dog for continued recovery. And I actually don't believe that at all, but that's my opinion.
The dog was able to hurt themselves on something that you have in your field that is something that you can do something about.
Right.
You don't need to accept liability to still do something about it. It also says that the insurer said our investigation confirms that notice had been given that the sandpit area was closed at the time of the incident. As you can see...
Sorry, I'm laughing because it's like, it's closed. It's closed. It's like me opening my front door to my house and taking out all my furniture and saying, oh, no one can come in because it's closed. It's quite literally open. Anyone can walk in. That's a terrible analogy, but you know what I mean. It's like, just because you say it's closed doesn't mean it's not accessible. If that was a sandpit for children, you'd be the sandpit and saying like, oh, the sandpit's closed. No, it's still very much accessible by the child. I don't understand what they mean.
Closed. It is in the middle of a field. It is in the middle of a field. There is no signage to say it's closed. And the only thing they've done to close the sandpit is to cover the sand. No defects or hazards were identified. Maybe the insurers couldn't see it, but I can quite clearly see a hazard there.
There is.
I don't know. Maybe I'm blind. I don't know. I feel so unbelievably gaslit here. The sandpit had been covered with chipboard and rubber matting. The sand had been covered with chipboard and rubber matting, not the pit,
right.
Not the drop,
right.
And not the edges my dog fell into. And I'm just so disappointed.
This clearly makes no sense. This statement from them clearly makes no sense. I'm just going to say, actually, I'll let me just finish and play through, because I have so much to say, Jesse.
There are like no, I want to say I have no words, but clearly I have a few. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. You're saddened that any dog could ever be injured in any capacity in your field. Do something about the pit.
Literally. It's fixable. It's fixable by you. Within hours, you can fix that. You may have to cancel some people's dog walks. You may lose a little bit of money for a few hours, 2 hours. But do you really care that much about dogs that you don't mind losing some money to potentially save some lives off dogs or serious injury? Come on now.
The pit more obvious. I'm not asking you to get rid of it. It's not as safe as it could be. Why would you not want to make it safer? You know, this situation has just completely like blown our minds. Even in their posts, they've still not brought awareness to the sandpit. They've not mentioned it. They've not told people to look out for it.
Right.
Nothing. And that's really all we want them to do. You know, the insurance stuff is dealt with, fine. Like, whatever. We're dealing with that. But they have the power to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And
they won't.
They're not. So we do have a picture of Beans' injury like stitched up, but I don't want to subject everyone to that photo. So if it's a photo that you want to see or something like that, let me know. But it's not something that I want to just like throw in everyone's faces because it's graphic. And on a lighter note, this is Beans. This is our little boy. He's a cutie. This is about 2.5 weeks after his surgery. He's had his stitches removed and he is healing well. So yeah, he's going to be all right.
So as I mentioned in that video, Georgia never mentioned this dog park, but it didn't take long for me and my researcher just to head over to Facebook and type in keywords like dog, sandpit, injury to find the dog park in question, Ely Dog Fields. And in their Instagram it says, secure dog field near to the city of Ely. We offer a wide range of agility obstacles, a sand pit, and so much more for private hire only. I started to wonder, I wonder if they have done anything about this pit, because now someone's put something on social media. Now people can really see what has happened, the situation. So I reached out to a group of people and asked if anyone was able to make a little journey for me. I'm very, very far from this place, so I had to ask people that were a little bit closer if they could make a journey to this dog field for me, make a booking, and have a little look at what's going on with the sand pit. So they very kindly took their senior dog, who doesn't run around anymore, who just likes nice slow walks, to this field to see what the situation was with the sandpit. So one thing I want to point out as they are walking towards this sandpit, and I sped this up a tiny little bit, you can't see the sandpit yet, right? And this is on a human face level. So it's somebody holding their phone about here and walking up to the sandpit. Imagine this now from a dog's point of view. Lower down, you're running very quick. It's a whippet. Racing dogs, running at a certain speed, and then this comes into sight. You are not going to be able to see that quick. I mean, as humans walking down the stairs, sometimes we miss that bottom step and twist our ankle. I say that because I've done it like a million times when we're visually looking at the step. So imagine a dog running really fast, unable to see this sandpit on the horizon because there isn't one, it's just flat with the ground. I just want you to imagine that as you watch this. And then this is the actual sandpit itself. So as we can see, nothing has been done to change anything about this position it's in. There's been rubber matting on top of a wood chip which is covering the sand. So I don't know why in their statement or their insurance talk about this being covered when what has caused the damage has not been covered at all. It's the outside edge of the sand pit that has caused this injury. Nothing has been done to potentially stop this from happening or after the situation has happened. This is a good time later, by the way. So knowing that the edge of the sand pit has caused injury, nothing has been done to stop it. I just want you to see this edge here again as well. This kind of wood, again, I have this in my own garden here, can become extremely sharp. If there's a little bit sticking up or there's an edge and you hit it the wrong way, slice. It is a potential, and as we know, a hazard to dogs. I mean, look at that edge. It's insane. So talking about safety, what happens when you book this field? So when you book, you get an email that says, "Hi, thank you for booking with Ely Dog Field. Please read the important information below to ensure a safe and enjoyable visit." They have a gate code because, like I said, it's completely gated off. It's just for you. Water splash is now open for summer. Please ensure dogs are closely supervised and do not allow them to dig on the banks or in the gravel. The sandpit is closed until winter. So now bear in mind, them means sandpit closed means the chipboard and the rubber matting. I would just want to say about that rubber matting as well. It's obviously there to stop dogs from tripping, but what's stopping them from falling in, right? Bear in mind you get dogs of all sizes as well. Please do not arrive early for your booking. Do not enter the field before your time slot, even if a car park appears empty. There is a new entrance to the field from the car park on the left. Fine. Safety notice. You must clear up your dog's poo. Absolutely. There are bags at the entrance. The field is a natural environment and may contain plants that are harmful to dogs, e.g. flowers, acorns, mushrooms, etc. See, that's the kind of thing where you're saying, okay, no harm to my dog. You're responsible for your dog eating something, right? You're always saying, get it, leave it out your mouth. So we get that. Please keep your dog, that's something that can't be helped. Mother Nature. Please keep your dog under control and do not allow him to eat any vegetation. There is no lighting at the field. For bookings outside of daylight hours, you must have a torch for yourself and light up collars for your dogs and observe your dogs at all times. Jesus, imagine a dog tripping and falling on it at night time. Imagine if it was dark and that happened. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, field use. Use of the field equipment and mound is at your own risk. The mound's steep sides are for dogs. I'm guessing this is a hill within. Please do not climb them and be careful near them. The water splash is now open for use at your own risk. Please take any general waste home with you. Only dog poo in the bins, please. Full details are in our terms and conditions. By booking, you agree with these. We have warnings about the things that are there. The mound, the splash thing, which is really cute, by the way. It's a really great addition. I wish the ones near me had that. But we have no safety warning. Please be careful near the sand pit. The edges are sharp. The wood is slippery. Nothing like that. Because I know that wood can get really slippery as well. So again, nothing really about the sand pit being closed other than it's closed, but it just means it's out of use. And I got a little bit curious as well. I went to their Facebook and I thought, what do they do with these fields? What kind of things are they saying about the fields? And I found this. It says a busy day down at the field today. It's been a full-on one. The team fueled by lots of coffee. Lots going on to keep everything looking smart and ready for our customers. The water splash has been emptied and refilled, and we'll share some fresh photos and videos tomorrow. We get a chance during our morning fencing checks. We've got limited availability, so they put the times in there. And it does seem like they really maintain their fields. Grass streaming around the trees and equipment, tidy up around the mini woodland they have there. What a great place it would seem for your dogs to run around. It's well maintained. It looks safe. They even have notices on safety here as well. This is about spring flowers and how some of the plants can be harmful for dogs. They say that the field is a natural environment. As such, there are some hazards as you would find on any walk in nature. That's true. That's very true. And I do think, again, dogs eating something is down to you and your owner, right? They even have a list of safety guidelines at the field, and this was posted on the 23rd of October 2024. But these are mainly based on arrival time, what you should do when you get there, what you should do when you should leave, and locking up after yourself. What really puzzled me is looking at this Facebook page, the kind of personality of the statement that we got about the insurance and them not being liable, and then what they posted didn't really match up. What they post on their Facebook and what they post on their social media seems to be this caring, community-driven business, which you would want from someone you were giving your money to. For example, they post this. This was from the 7th of March. It says, a long post alert, but an important one. There's no denying it. The dog field industry is getting more and more competitive. It's hard work to run a field. I can imagine. Lots of maintenance. Not enough, but lots. Much more so than we've ever predicted. But here's the thing. We feel there's room for all of us. There's no need between negativity for fields. We are all here because we care about dogs and giving owners peace of mind. Really? That's not to say we don't get nervous when a new field pops up. I think that's completely natural in all businesses with fresh competition arrives. I would then ask you the question to the people that own this field. I'm talking directly to you now. Things like dogs cutting their necks on things within your field, how do you think that matches up with other dog fields in terms of competitiveness? Because I know that other news outlets have reached out to you within your local area to talk about this story too. So how do you think that looks for your dog field in comparison to other people? And even if we think about this with no empathy towards Beans and his owners, right? I always do this from a business standpoint. If I was some horrible business person who has no soul, and you think about this from a PR standpoint and your response, public response to people who pay to use your fields, who love their dogs. You know what dog owners are like, especially us millennial ones. As I said, I'll go to prison for my dogs. So how do you think your carefree, careless, to be quite honest, not good enough response and statement makes people feel when they're choosing the dog field they want to take their dogs to? Their babies, their family. I mean dog babies, I mean dog family. And human kids, let's be real, if a human kid is running around, what's to say they won't trip and fall and cut their neck or cut a part of their body? How do you think that looks when you're choosing the ultimate place to take the one thing you care about the most in the world? On a personal note, I rely on dog fields. When I'm juggling children and dogs on my own, open spaces and roadside walks simply aren't safe or realistic. So yes, I hire other fields. Having 2 dogs that can verge on reactivity, same when time is limited, means dog fields is my safest option. Same for me. This week alone, my dogs have visited 2 fields that aren't mine because sometimes they need a change of scenery, or my own field availability just doesn't fit around that day's schedule. Simple as that. I think that's great as a business anyway. You go around and you check out the competition. Nothing wrong with that. We're lucky to have, oh, I screamed. We're lucky to have a great relationship with several local and not so local fields. We share ideas, talk through challenges, compare products, discuss insurance, suppliers, ground management, etc. All the unglamorous but important stuff behind the scenes. Every field has something unique to offer, and different dogs will always suit different setups. And then they actually go on to talk about other dog fields within the area, which I think is really nice. Very community driven, right? Okay. And then they go on to end this saying community over competition every time. That word community just doesn't match up with the way they have dealt with this situation. So I did reach out to the dog field myself. I went to their website and I messaged them on social media. And this is what I said to them when I asked for a statement. I said, hello, I hope you are well. My name is Robert Welsh. I'm a YouTuber and social media content creator. My main focus is beauty, but I also have a reaction channel called Robert Reacts. One of my focuses off this channel is reporting on stories about concerning behavior from businesses. I'm often sent videos and stories from followers that they think I will be interested in covering on my channel. And as my audience know, I'm a huge dog lover and an owner of 2 of my own. I believe that's why I was sent a story about someone who used your dog field on the 29th of April. A dog named Beans was severely injured while in your field. Although your business is not mentioned by name in the post, myself and my researcher managed to find your post and statement about the situation on Facebook. I'm making a video on this situation because a few things are of deep concern to me about this whole situation and the way it was dealt with by your company. From what I understand, looking through the comments, we'll go into that in a minute, it was dealt with incredibly well until it comes to actually taking accountability about the sandpit that caused the injury. And I wanted to stress the sandpit because I didn't want them to think that I'm saying they should pay for the dog's vet bills, although I kind of do think they should. My main concerns are from your statement you put out on Facebook on the 15th of May at 10:47. In this statement, you go through the terms and conditions of the dog park and what your insurance company has said, etc. That's all well and good. However, I'm reaching out for a statement from you, as I would like to ask, as people who I assume love dogs and would not want another dog to be injured in the same way, why has nothing been done to fix this part of a sandpit that injured the dog? I had someone visit your dog park last week and would seem that the part of wood that caused the injury had been untouched. I have pictures and video from the visit and have compared it to the uploads from before the injury. I'm sure you are unable to take any liability for the injury as advised by your insurance company, but the fact is you have a part of your dog field that almost killed a dog. Why have you not fought to fix this to prevent future injury? Although you say in the statement the sandpit has been covered with chipboard and rubber matting, which is in line with the standard safety measures used within the industry, that's a direct quote from the statement, the fact is a dog was injured by this pit. A part of a pit that, looking through your past video uploads and social media, is always uncovered, even with the sand in the pit. I would like to ask, are you not concerned about future injury, and why it would seem as though you are making no move to prevent injuries similar to this? Your parks seem to be of a very high standard, and I've noticed you talk often about safety and maintenance throughout your social media profiles. Is there a reason this particular part of a park that almost caused a death to a dog has not been as well maintained? Is there a reason why after the incident there has been no move to fence off the pit? I have reached out to your original poster whose dog was injured, and it would appear you have blocked them on social media, along with other people asking about the situation. Why was this decision made instead of further apology or a gesture of goodwill? I've put in brackets, for example, free walk time, etc. Do you think this is a good business practice? Thank you for your time. This message I have sent you will be shared in full in video, along with any response from yourself and the original poster whose dog was injured. Regards, Robert Welsh. Would you like to see their response from this? Good evening, Robert. I hope you are well. The statement in our Facebook page on the 15th of May is our comment regarding this. Many thanks, Ely Dogfield. So they don't have to respond to me. They did put out a statement. But I guess what I was looking for from sending my statement and after talking to the owner of Beans, not some ownership of having to pay for the injury. I would not expect them to fork out the money for it. However, if I owned this business and claimed to be as community driven as I was, perhaps I would help them raise the money for it, which, by the way, Beans has a GoFundMe for the surgery. It's reaching almost $3,000 for the vet's bills. Beans did have to go back to the vet to have something sorted out. I'll leave that link down below. $3,000 is a lot of money. You can see as well that that dog is loved, loved, loved as they should be. So I'll leave that below. Even if you can share the link, it's a huge help. I will also be donating as soon as I finish filming this. What I was looking for was not only human empathy, but empathy for a creature who you provide a service for, who you always talk about the safety of, who you maintain the dog fields for, who you create experiences for within your dog fields to make them have fun, to tire them out, to make happy. So why in your statements can you not give a tiny, tiny bit of community-driven empathy? I always say within these videos, the way people shop now, and I talk about it in my beauty content as well, because it's very relevant to everyone. The way people shop, the way people use their money is very important right now in this time, right? We give companies and we give brands our money depending on how we see them if they were a human being. If that brand's owner's beliefs don't align with ours, we don't fund them. If I find out the owner of a brand has a history of being a Nazi or saying Nazi-like things, which has happened, by the way, on social media, you bet that brand isn't getting my money anymore because you are funding that person, quite literally. You cannot separate brands from the people that own them, companies from the people that own them. Now when I think of this dog field, and this is just my opinion, I think these people, and this isn't a statement and this isn't fact, again, it's just how I think when I see all this. I think these people don't care about my dog. They don't care that if I go into their dog park and an injury happens, they're going to help me in any way afterwards. Or they care that that injury happened. They don't care what caused that injury. How could they? Why would they after saying things like this? Does that show to anyone any kind of empathy for the situation other than we are so happy the dog didn't die at the vet's? Other than we're so happy the dog is home? Like Georgia said in her original video, you do not have to take responsibility for the injury. But you can take responsibility for what caused that injury, even if it's in your own head. My statement from this would have been what they said in the beginning, very factual. This is the facts of what happened. What you should have in a statement as any business is how you are going to react to this. Telling people what your insurance company said as your quote takes out that human connection that you should have in a community-driven business. Oh, our big insurance company said this. No, you should have said something along the lines of, we are upset at this situation. Vague, you're not admitting to causing the injury. It has inspired us to look at all our dog fields and do some kind of safety check, some kind of health and safety analysis. We are going to further look at our dog fields and ensure that there is no potential risk for injury. You're still not admitting to the injury. And then add something along the lines of how you want people to feel and be in these dog fields. We want dogs and owners to run, to explore, to play in these fields, but we also want them to be safe. As we always say on our social media, the top of our list is safety. And that is why this situation has inspired us to take a look at all our dog fields and ensure that they are safe for you and your family. And that family includes your pets. Now, there is an update, and I will close on a finishing statement.
Hi guys, I just wanted to make a little bit of a follow-up. I have just heard that Ely Dogfield have actually shut down their sandpit. We won't ask them to close the sandpit completely, just make it safer, but they have decided to close it, and I'm absolutely fine with that. That is wonderful. So thank you to EU Dogfield for listening. Thank you to everybody for sharing enough so that they had no choice but to listen. I really appreciate it. And yeah, have a lovely bank holiday, everybody. Bye. And close it, I mean like actually get rid of it. They've not just closed it like they closed it before. It's like gone now. I hope that makes sense. Sorry.
So yes, it has shut the sandpit. I did get an email from them. It says, "Good afternoon, please see the below update. The sandpit has now been removed as we move forward following the recent incident. Our priority remains providing a positive and enjoyable space for our customers and their dogs. Kind regards, Ely Dogfield." So it's gone. I do have to add to this though. Again, that lack of human empathy just isn't it. I do just want to address a comment that was made as well from somebody on, I think this is Facebook. So someone said regarding the original situation of a dog hurting themselves, this person says something quite stupid in my opinion. "Everything was covered. Should have paid more attention. That field is the only one I use time after time. 100% trust the owners. It's a shame this happened, but keep this real. If my dog hurt himself in there, it's because he's been a twat. Nice to see you are so distressed you had time to do your makeup. I hope the dog is okay. You won't put me off using this dog field nor others." I love how this person, Claire, has one seems like an absolute moron. Sorry, I just have to say that. Let's break this down. Everything was covered. We have pictures, evidence that the part of the sandpit that caused injury was not covered. Okay? I use it time after time. 100% trust the owners. Okay, doesn't mean that this doesn't happen. It's a shame this happened, but let's keep it real. The facts have been stated by what actually happened. If my dog hurt himself there, it's because he's been a twat. So if your dog was running around and didn't see this sand pit, if a dog who doesn't have the same kind of, problem-solving skills humans do, let's say, and your dog injures themselves, it's because your dog is a twat. You should not have a dog, Claire, sorry. If you think your dog injures itself because they ran around and like they should in that field expecting to be safe, not even expecting to be safe, they don't know what being safe is in a dog field, they don't know potential risks. And we've seen it's not exactly viewable from a dog's point of view. You would say, "Oh, my dog was a twat." If your dog was bleeding out by the neck because they hurt themselves, you would say, "Oh, twat." Of course you would be concerned. But you are saying that if this happened to your dog, using this injury as an example, you would think it's because your dog was a twat. Not because they were running around having fun and they injured themselves. That's insane. Nice to see you are so distressed you had time to do your makeup. Honestly, hope your dog is okay. You won't put me off using this dog field. Claire, how did you make this about you being a victim? How did you make this about you being the person within this situation? You won't put me off. I know exactly what kind of person you are. It's crazy. George said, "Hi Claire, here are the photos in case you missed them. The pit isn't covered and the sand is. Also, of course I had time to do my makeup. It's been 2.5 weeks. Claire doesn't realise time. Bottom of the pit isn't covered. Then the pit isn't covered, is it? So that means the bottom is covered, the sand is covered, but the pit is not covered. The pit itself is not covered. It's still a pit. What's in the pit is covered. You can say it's a landmine pit." The landmines are covered, but it's still a pit. Sorry, yeah, I'll tell our dog to pay more attention. I'm sure he'll understand that. Also, yeah, my wife managed to do her makeup in this video as it's been 2 weeks since the accident. Thanks for commenting though. She looks lovely, I know. Good for you, Will. So, I mean, I don't understand that mind frame. There's supporting your community and maybe, supporting this dog field. But at the same time, saying that a dog injured itself because it's a twat, and not clearly looking at the evidence. One is basic kind of like problem solving skills that this person, Claire, does not seem to have. But when presented with evidence factually in front of them, they also can't seem to manage to figure out the situation in their head. It's very disappointing that humans like this still exist and are allowed to do basic things like vote or be in the world. Anyway, I just hate people like that. Imagine calling your dog a twat because they injure themselves. I feel sorry for their dogs. Okay, I think I want to end this video with two notes. One to the owners of Beans. I am so happy Beans is okay. Thank you for your cooperation within this as well. You did nothing wrong by making this public. It should be public. Companies should be called out for things like this, especially when they present themselves to be something, and when it comes to them being faced with a situation like this, show who they really are. So I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad your family is okay. I'm glad Beans is recovering. And like I said to everyone else, please check out that GoFundMe link down below. To Ely Dogfield. To the people that own this dog field, I'm not saying your dog fields are bad. They actually look very nice. They actually look very well maintained despite the sand pit. And from an outside point of view, from just looking at your company and looking at your business, it looks well set up. It looks like you care about safety. It looks like you care about the image that you have when it comes to the physical appearance of your fields. It seems like you care about your community. Something that deeply disturbs me, and deeply disturbs me still, even though you have taken out this sand pit, is the way this was dealt with in the first place. I understand panicking and wanting to cover yourself, saying things without thinking them through. Taking advice from people for legal reasons, I understand. But what I don't understand is how soulless this feels, even as a business decision. I'm not even talking now about you as people. How soulless this whole situation feels coming from you. I'm genuinely disgusted in the way you dealt with this. I think it is terrifying that you own businesses that cater to dogs, and this is how you dealt with this situation. This is how you dealt with this in regards to empathy and your concern for other dogs. That was the main thing as well. What happened with Beans has happened. It's horrific. And yes, you should be forever extremely apologetic about this. As I said, free walks for them for a while, you know, just something to say we are so sorry. We want your dog still to have the best time ever and not be scared of walking again. We still want you to know that we care about your custom. Whether or not the owners choose to use your service again, they probably won't, is up to them. Or whether they choose to take that offer is up to them. But what you do afterwards in almost like denying that this is any fault of yours in terms of what you had within your park is actually disgusting. You should be ashamed of the way you dealt with this. Deeply ashamed of the way you dealt with this, and embarrassed, to be quite honest with you. It's embarrassing. And yes, I understand people wanting to stick up for you, being like, I take my dogs out. Okay, good for you. Good for you. Now what? Okay. Just because it hasn't happened to your dogs does not mean it did not happen or will not happen. If I owned those dog fields and a dog injured themselves within that field and my insurance company said don't take liability, I wouldn't. I would still, while being devastated and disturbed by what happened, still take action to make things right. The facts are, a dog nearly died on something you have put in your dog field that was not covered. The place the injury happened was not covered. Then the facts are, you did not then take any action to cover where the injury took place, to even fence it off, which is very easy in 2026, right? You can go out today and buy something right now. You can have something delivered tomorrow. Those are the facts. Talking directly to you if you're watching this. For those people who want to defend the owners of this business and the dog field, fine, you enjoy using that area, but you cannot deny that a dog nearly died in this park. It is a fact. It is a fact that a dog was severely injured, and the injury came from something that was not maintained properly within the field. The edge of that pit. We're not saying the sand was covered. The sand is nothing to do with this. The slip mats are nothing to do with this. Being unable to see the edge of that, the sharp edge of that wood, and being unable to see it from a dog's level is what caused that injury. Fact. A dog running as they do, a whippet running as they do, slipping into that pit, falling to the side, slicing the neck, probably with a bit of movement. If the edge of that pit was maintained, if it had some sandbags on the side, if it had a little bit of that padding you put in kids' adventure playground on the side, there would have been no injury. It's nothing to do with the pit. It's to do with what's on the edge of a pit. Those are the facts. The way you dealt with this, the lack of any kind of human empathy on a business, from a business point of view and in general, is terrible. It's straight up shit. It's terrible. I hope both sides can move on from this, but I would say in future for this dog field, human empathy, a lack of, is why people are angry. Do you get that? Do you see that? Or is that not registering? You're just worried about covering yourself? That's a genuine question, because you need to take a second and not think about how this has affected you, how this is potentially affecting your business, because the fix of how this has affected your business or might potentially affect your business, or what could have stopped this from happening in the first place, people being so angry about it, is human empathy. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's coming from a business point of view. Do you agree? That's what could have stopped all of this from happening. I'm gonna end it there. Please check out the GoFundMe down below. And just to cover my back and myself on this, and all because I do genuinely believe this, that this company, the dog-filled company, I think will be more aware of safety within their parks. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't book with them. It's fine. Their dog-filled, the rest of their dog fields apart from that sandpit looks great. It looks great. But what will really boost your business now, if you truly believe in community and not just business to business, because that's interpersonal community. That's not your community. Your community are the people that are keeping you in business and paying you to use your services. If you truly believe in that, then perhaps work on this. Get yourself a little business plan, okay? All right, thank you so much for joining me. Let me know your opinions down below. What I will not take in the comments down below is people talking shit about dogs being stupid, because they are like children. Children are stupid too. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you very, very soon. Bye.